though we are there to give oversight, we need to have a relationship for these people to trust
Chemistry.
us.
Advisory boards are largely outsourced. A case in point is ACLAIM. Okay, you don't have an active board, but you have the opportunity to actually go out there, engage with ACLAIM, and source for this service to support your business.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. We are here again to speak about governance. And with us is two experts again that have served on boards that work with ACLAIM Africa to tell us their story. We know very well that for a country that has a reputation for being entrepreneurial and where so many companies mushroom annually, we also have a high mortality rate for these companies before their first or second birthdays. And this is because of issues like governance, accountability, and sustainability, even just access to finance. But when we look at the problem even closer, we realize that the apathy to having systems, the apathy to having governance has been a real anathema to our companies. And now, as we speak with these experts, I want to also state that this podcast is brought to you by ACLAIM Africa Limited. My name is Pheona Wall. I'm the Executive Director of the Fidelis Leadership Institute, but I'm here to speak governance with our experts. I will have them introduce themselves because they're very famous people and might find me if I misintroduce them. I'll start with Sudesh.
Hi, Sudesh is my name. Sudesh Kaka. When most people hear me speak, they are thinking I'm going to speak like this, then I'm not speaking like that. But that's the other part of the story.
Oh, you just did?
Yeah. I'm an associate consultant with ACLAIM.
Yeah.
But outside ACLAIM, I have an organizational design consulting firm. And I'm also involved in real estate investment. Been working with ACLAIM, been associated with them for over 10 years. And I serve on two boards as an operations expert.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Sudesh. We might change our accents midway, but coming now to Dorothy, please introduce yourself.
Thanks, Fiona. My name is Dorothy Muttu. I own a marketing firm that's called We Create Africa. I am a founder, and I also offer marketing expertise, especially in the area of strategy, to these businesses. Yes, that is
excellent.
Who I am.
So, speaking about governance, first of all, just getting into this topic, how did you get into the governance space? What does it mean for you? And what has the experience been sitting on boards of SMEs?
Okay. Very interesting question. I had a friend before Rent a Board even started, and they were running an NGO, and he asked me to be on their board. And while I was there, I saw how governance works and how it helped them, because at one point they were about to close.
Yes.
Every authority needs authority above it. You need that authority to say, hey, are you sure about this? Yeah. Have you done this?
To ask that question.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, you might be overstepping your supplies. How about this? So that's how I got into the whole stuff of governance, and I've seen it grow and grow over the years.
Nice. So, Dorothy, what's your story? How did you get in? And have you seen value for yourself and for the boards that you've served on?
Yes, it's been a very enriching experience for me. So having worked in the corporate world for over 15 years, and this is largely in the space of commercial, which is really both sales and marketing. This experience has been very rewarding. Looking at my experience from developing strategy or converting vision into strategy, and then operationalizing, marketing, different facets of the marketing agenda in these organizations. It's been very enriching and rewarding. And why I say that is because I've watched myself grow in the confidence to work with entrepreneurs in these SMEs, to founders, to engage with them and get a sense of how their businesses, started to where they have gotten into. And also just bringing to life the different facets of marketing, like I mentioned, supporting them on brand transformation, driving their awareness. We know SMEs are very young,
Yes.
in their journeys is quite erratic, and many times they're very young and they do not have the capacity in-house to bring these different facets of marketing to life. So the support that I have given or lent to these businesses has largely been in the area of brand management, helping them to transform their brands, to bring their brands to life, to create more visibility for them. Because as a business, you cannot operate without
a brand.
Exactly, without a brand and without the awareness. So besides the brand transformation, I've also been very instrumental in developing their vision into strategy. Many times young founders just have a vision. I want to go from point A to point B. They have dreams, I'm looking at X amount of revenue as my turnover for a certain period of time, but they have not quite conceptualized these visions. Yes. So the how has not come into play.
Yes.
So my role here is to sit down with them and just bring that to life, create a plan that structures their thinking and allows them to operationalize and also commercialize their vision. So those are the two areas I've been supporting on, and it has been a very rewarding experience. Like I said, I have learned a lot about these businesses.
Yes.
So my understanding of SMEs and what they do and their growth journeys has been enriched, and I'm very appreciative for that.
So, Sudesh, what are some of the challenges you've experienced serving on boards of SMEs? Because I'm sure, I don't know, but sometimes they're not as welcoming or as open. So what are some of those challenges that you've dealt with so that any of the guys out there that would like to serve on a board might anticipate and, prepare themselves to manage? Yeah.
I think being an entrepreneur myself, I know one thing for a fact. When you're into entrepreneurship, by and large, you're unstructured. And so what the board does is that...
The name of the game.
Yes, it puts structure to thoughts, and then now creates an environment where you're held accountable.
Yes.
And that is easier said than done. And the challenge I've had is that you sit, you know that you're making recommendations that are valid, but then somehow you feel like you're talking about the same thing
every day.
Every 3
meeting,
months, you feel you're talking about the same thing, and you're thinking we need to move.
So how do you deal with such roadblocks?
One thing I've done is, or what I continually do is that I understand that though we are there to give oversight, we need to have a relationship for these people to trust
Chemistry.
us. So, yes.
Yeah, board chemistry is very
What
important.
I've done, I never used to do it in the beginning, for the first 6 months or a year. I never used to do that. But what I do right now is I visit. Okay, if we
visit the organization.
Yes, I visit the organization. I get to know how the people work. Sometimes we've had lunch with the employees, get to understand them, get to support them. There is actually one SME where I'm on the board, and we are partnering to create a product together.
Yes.
And I see a different side of them, and they are now more receptive because they know I'm there to partner. So the challenge has been thinking that my advice would be taken because I'm an expert. No. People take your advice because they trust you. And they know that you're in partnership with them.
And I think that's the thing with advisory boards.
Absolutely.
It's just advice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it needs to come from a place of
trust
and partnership. Like you're not just here to sit through 3 or 4 meetings in a year and then go, but you're here to be
with them through the trenches.
Yeah, you have the goodwill. So that challenge of thinking that your advice will be taken because you're an expert.
It doesn't work
So
like that.
this challenge that Sudesh is talking about, Dorothy, the aspect of what's the difference between an advisory board and a proper board for the organizations out there that are listening to us?
All right, so advisory boards are largely outsourced. A case in point is ACLAIM. Okay, you don't have an active board, but you have the opportunity to actually go out there, engage with ACLAIM, and source for this service to support your business.
Yes.
So they are not necessarily in the business.
It's a support business.
Support service.
That's excellent. So how do you deal, for instance, when you're an advisory board, are you bound, for instance, by the usual things, because by the usual issues? What can I say? If you give advice, would there be any liability
for advisory boards?
Yes, for your bad advice.
So for advisory boards, what happens usually is that because you're
because according to corporate governance regulations, you can go to jail as a director. So are you that kind of director?
No.
Well, okay. Yourself.
As an advisory board, right? You leave that to the business.
Yeah.
Okay, your role is purely advisory. Yes.
Yeah.
So your role is purely advisory, so that really sits with the business. Okay, if they make the decisions, if they sign the documents that do not do not align with governance aspects, then the risk sits largely with them. So
but it's a reputational issue.
Yes, the reputational.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And now I want us to look at as we end, and I'll ask each of you to give a closing remark in that regard. What would you tell organizations out there? Why should they have an advisory board?
Yeah, I think you look at it this way. I like a quote from, I think the book is called Atomic Habits. It says that winners and losers have the same goals. We do not rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems.
Wow.
So a business...
Say that again.
Winners and losers have the same goals. Yeah. We do not rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. Now, when you look at it, governance is a system to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
Marketing and all these other functions are systems. So you can do without the board, but you would do better having a board, because your system will be airtight, the accountability will be higher, and then you will see yourself grow because you're on solid ground. So I would tell them that, value the fact that a board is part of your system that helps you to grow and scale that business. That's my advice.
That's excellent. Yes?
I think my advice would largely be to have these businesses embrace boards. Okay,
Yes.
so there are SMEs out there that do not have a board in place. Okay, so that simply means that they lack that expertise to support them on areas of governance across the different departments and functions, and that usually comes with risk as a business. Okay, so you need that oversight role. So my advice to businesses out there that haven't taken on boards is to think of an advisory board. It doesn't have to be a full-fledged legal board in-house, but you can work with an advisory board. What does that mean? You can actually outsource this service, okay, and have them support you, and they actually help to build or to nurture you to a point where you can have a full-fledged board in place. That would largely be my advice.
And we're doing all this so that we can prepare your organization for success.
Yes.
As Sudesh said, it's laying a foundation. And somebody said that culture, it's strategy for breakfast. So if you have a bad culture, if you're not accountable, if you do not have systems, whatever strategies or goals you're setting are going to be dinner. So, yes.
And breakfast.
So there you have it from the experts. Thank you, Sudesh. Thank you, Dorothy.
Thank you, Pheona.
It's been Pheona with ACLAIM Africa Limited bringing you the Rent a Board podcast.